never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tie me to someone who will love me, yeah. Wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Fine.
Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd family a part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. Happy Saturday. Let me start out the video before we get into the high school football scores by asking, if you fall asleep on the living room couch at 8:30 on a Friday night, are you an old man? Because that's what yours truly did last night. So if that makes you an old man, I guess I am an old man. But hey, I'm still awesome and I'm still good looking, and that's more important. But it's time to get into some high school football scores from Georgia and South Carolina from last night. Now, I checked all the websites that give the high school football scores to try to hopefully make sure I get all the teams that people care about. But I will say there are some games coming up today in the playoffs in the state of Georgia. So if I do not say your team's name, there's a chance they play today. Buford defeated Wheeler 50-0. Mill Creek 42. Osborne 17. Peachtree Ridge 20. Lambert 17. North Gwinnett 31. West Forsyth 6. Oconee County 28. Douglas 14. It was Stevens County over Carver 31-13. Grayson over Richmond Hill 35-24. Norcross defeats Denmark 34-10. Lanier 21. East Paulding 14. Walton 66. Mountain View 7. Collins Hill 45. North Cobb 14. Colquitt County 51. Parkview 25. Valdosta 41. Archer 16. Mays 65. Loganville 7. Monroe area 24. Sandy Creek 21. Dalton 39. Greater Atlanta Christian 17. Wesleyan 35. Ringgold 14. Cedar Grove over Hebron Christian 30-27. Jefferson 48. Maynard Jackson 14. Commerce 58. Jasper County 19. Rabun County 49. Social Circle 14. Douglas County, 63. Habersham Central, 9. Creekside, 63. Flowery Branch, 6. Gainesville, 46. South Paulding, 27. Elbert County, 34. Oglethorpe, 27. Bremen, 40. White County, 17. Milton, 53. Duluth, nothing. Sequoia, 33. Alpharetta, 9. Langston Hughes, 41. And North Forsyth, 7. And that is the scores from North and Northeast Georgia, and a few scores from the upstate of South Carolina. BHP defeats Pendleton 44-28. Hillcrest over Burns in overtime 27-24. Chester defeats Chapman 58-24. Clinton defeats Broome 38-7. Gaffney 24. Clover 12. Daniel 35. Wren 21. Greenville 24. Greer 21. Dutch Fork 31. Hannah 28. Man 17. Spartanburg 7. And Westside defeated York 49-14. And if you wonder why we have a running clock in the second half of most high school football games, if the score is out of reach, I saw something last night on social media, and to those of you that I know personally, if I can find it again, I'm going to send it to you. But it was a guy that lives in South Carolina was reporting on a team that was getting ready to play last night that won their first round playoff game last Friday night. And I forget exactly how many points they scored, but I want to say it was either close to 90 or in the 90s. But the team had 990 yards of offense, I believe. And the quarterback himself had 400 rushing yards. And I think the running back had 300 rushing yards. So in a game like that, there's no reason to prolong it. Obviously, by halftime, it's over with. But can you imagine how many yards and points a team would have if there was not a running clock? And I meant to send it when I saw it yesterday, and I forgot. Hopefully I'll be able to find it again, and this time I'll send it. But I do know that in the state of Georgia, it's optional. They usually go to the head coaches and say, hey, this game is 28 plus points. Do you want a second half running clock? And if one of the coaches says no, then you have to have a regular standard clock. But usually when the game is 28 plus points, most of the time both coaches say yeah, because the losing coach just wants to get out of there while the score is still somewhat respectable. And the winning coach usually says yes, because the quicker the game ends, the fewer players you have to play and the fewer injuries you're going to have, because for a lot of high school football teams, a lot of positions, you don't really have a lot of backups. For a lot of high school football teams, especially the smaller ones, most of the time, the 22 starters are the same 11 guys on both sides of the ball. You normally have a few backups, but it's usually JV guys that are there just in case of an emergency. But usually on most teams, the quarterback on offense plays defensive back on defense. The offensive linemen play defensive line on defense. So for a lot of high schools, if that's the situation you're in, instead of making these guys play a bunch of snaps that are totally, absolutely meaningless, just go ahead and have a second half running clock. I don't know if it's optional or not in South Carolina. I would assume it is, but it might be mandatory. Hey, this game's out of reach. We've got a second half running clock. But I know there was a few games this year where I've seen where the halftime score was so far beyond reach that the second half of the game lasts like 30 minutes because the clock runs nonstop, except for I believe it stops on penalties, and that's it. But if a team scores, clock keeps going. Incomplete pass, clock keeps going. Really, the only time it stops is the end of third quarter going to the fourth quarter. Any thoughts on this, please feel free to let me know. Homes for Our Troops is a publicly funded 501c nonprofit organization that builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans. Since the 2004 inception, nearly 90 cents of every dollar spent has gone directly to our program services for veterans. Visit at hfotusa.org. Today's dad joke is not really a dad joke. It's more of a statement, but hopefully you'll find it funny. I want to grow my own food, but I can't find bacon seeds. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of three. Tell your friends and family how much you love them. Bye.